Hello, clever human. Let's sort the decisions that touch real life. First up, the price tag is the story. Across the wider news cycle, this one starts with federal arson case in Los Angeles's deadly Palisades fire ends in mistrial. Fact confidence is 95 out of 100, so the basic event is solid. The argument is about what it changes. The open question is whether the pressure becomes a real cost or just a nervous headline. The real tension is whether this stays in markets or reaches normal wallets. One detail to watch is Jonathan Rinderknecht. Judge declares mistrial in arson trial of Palisades fire suspect after jury deadlocks. Why care? Who is likely to be affected? Local communities, insurers, public services, and investors. Weather and climate risk become money problems quickly. Insurance, food, power, travel, and public services all feel it.
Keep this one in view. The escalation question is still the story. In Russia/Ukraine, this one starts with Ukraine launches huge drone attack on Russia and occupied Crimea as it seeks to force Putin to end the war. The open question is whether officials keep this contained or let it widen. The tension is not noise. It is how far the response travels. Carry this extra detail with it. Ukrainian drones drive Russia to declare emergency in occupied Crimea. Why care? Who is likely to be affected? Security officials, travelers, and markets. The groups watching closest are security officials, travelers, and markets, because risk decisions tend to cascade quickly.
Meanwhile, the court narrows the Roundup fight. Across the wider news cycle, the story is about Supreme Court blocks thousands of Bayer lawsuits over weedkiller cancer risk. Fact confidence comes in at 95 out of 100. The shared center is clear enough, and the consequences are the moving part. The tension sits between the public promise and the machinery needed to make it real. The added wrinkle is Bayer/Monsanto wins Roundup case as Supreme Court blocks suit over link between herbicide and cancer. The open question is who pays the political price when the details arrive. Why care? Who is likely to be affected? Medical providers, patients, consumers, and government. The headline becomes real when it turns into forms, votes, lawsuits, or limits.
Next up, a rent freeze turns a promise into policy. Across the wider news cycle, this one starts with NYC rent guidelines. Board approves 2-year rent freeze, fulfilling Mamdani campaign pledge. The open question is what changes after the headline cools down. The tension is what moves next: behavior, money, rules, safety, or trust. Carry this extra detail with it. Mamdani celebrates rent freeze for stabilized housing as board member quits, blasts vote process. Why care? Who is likely to be affected? Institutions, businesses, and consumers. The affected groups are institutions, businesses, and consumers, which means the story may not stay abstract for long.
Another signal worth watching. The facts are moving faster than the answers. In the United States, this one starts with Utah declares emergency, limits fireworks ahead of July 4th as crews battle largest U.S. wildfire. One detail to watch is Utah declares state of emergency, restricts fireworks as U.S. largest wildfire grows. Why care? Trust is the boring word that decides whether people follow rules, buy promises, or punish institutions.
Now to this one. The risk is bigger than the first blast. In United Kingdom, the headline boils down to British influencer faces possible execution in Dubai after allegedly stabbing man to death, claiming self-defense, advocacy group says. The useful angle is whether leaders contain the risk or spread it into security, energy, and public trust. One detail to watch is who is Brooke George? 23-year-old Briton faces execution by firing squad in Dubai after allegedly stabbing a man to death. The catch is that the next response matters more than the first reaction. Fact confidence lands at 83 out of 100. The repeated reporting is strong enough to watch the fallout, not just the headline. Why care? Security pressure can reset travel, energy, markets, and public patience faster than a normal political fight.
For today, the useful filter is simple. Watch what changes decisions, prices, rules, safety, or trust. The rest can sit down for a minute. A headline can make noise by itself. A story earns attention when separate reporting keeps landing on the same basic facts. On federal arson case in Los Angeles' deadly Palisades fire ends in mistrial. Watch climate risk, markets, and your wallet. In global news, the people closest to it are local communities, insurers, and public services. The next useful update is whether behavior, budgets, policy, or risk appetite actually changes.
That is enough chaos for one cup. Subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.